You may have noticed the films that scare audiences today are a little different than the ones that spooked our parents or their parents. The horror films of today have less blood and gore and more of a fear that hits closer to home. It's a little too real. One film instructor cites a theory by David Skal. It says horror films of today are a reflection of society's fears, not the cute ones you can leave in the theater. The New York Film Academy dates the first horror movie back to 1898. It had cauldrons, skeletons, ghosts, the usual. But the Film Academy says the first time a horror film actually took on real-life fears was in the 40s and 50s. War was at the forefront of everyone's minds. So movies like The War of the Worlds, When Worlds Collide in 1953, hit really close to home. The thought that allies will have to come together to annihilate an unknown threat to humanity was too real. The Film Academy says people were sensitive to themes of invasion and shaken by the idea of nuclear weapons. That's why Godzilla may have struck a chord with audiences too. An atomic bomb awakening a frightening, freakish being was compared to the effects of nuclear weapons, according to one critic.
Well, I think it's happening.
A more recent classic, The Day After Tomorrow, brings the new generation face-to-face with its own fears.
Mr. Vice President, if we don't act now, it's going to be too late.
Politicians ignored warnings from scientists until climate change ignited a deadly disaster. The filmmakers trying to make sure if you weren't paying attention to climate change before, you are now. In Psychology Today, Dr. Mark Griffith says people enjoy entertainment that affects them. And horror movies definitely have an effect. UCLA film professor Jonathan Kuntz says the appeal of the horror genre is fear is universal. We can all identify what fear feels like because when you feel it, you know it. He says horror films give audiences a safe space to test and overcome certain limitations without risk. Then when you throw in real-life scenarios, audiences can see how life could be with one result versus another. And it's those outcomes that you take home long after you throw away the popcorn and lose the ticket stub. So call it twisted, wrong, or creepy, but the fact is, many of us like seeing our fears played out on the big screen when Hollywood's greatest minds craft them for us.